For thousands of years, the planet Erythra lay hidden in a quiet corner of the galaxy, cloaked by the dense mist of a dying nebula. Few knew it existed, and even fewer had ever imagined that it was home to the Ancient Ones, humans who had once ruled the stars. Their civilization had been brilliant, powerful and wise, yet it had vanished suddenly, leaving nothing but legends and scattered ruins. Inside a massive crystalline dome, Mira, one of the last remaining Ancient Ones awake, opened her eyes. Time had slowed for her people, who slept in stasis chambers for centuries, waiting for the galaxy to call them once again. Mira stretched her limbs, feeling the energy that hummed within her veins, a force that only humans could command. It was the same energy that once allowed her ancestors to shape planets, bend light, and travel faster than any known starship. The silence of Erythra was broken suddenly by a faint signal, vibrating through the crystals of the dome. Mira's eyes widened. The signal was not of her world. It was distant, alien, yet familiar in its strange resonance. She moved swiftly to the central console, her fingers brushing the smooth surface, and the entire chamber lit up in a cascade of gold and silver light. "It's coming from the galaxy," she whispered to herself, her voice steady but urgent. "They are reaching for us." But too late. The Ancient Ones had waited for centuries, watching the galaxy from afar. Civilizations rose and fell, empires flourished and collapsed, yet humanity remained hidden, observing, learning, and preserving knowledge that no one else could comprehend. But now the signal suggested that something, or someone, was hunting for them. Outside Erythra, in the dark void of space, a Zetherian scout fleet moved silently. The Zetherians were a dominant species, ruthless in their expansion. Their sleek ships cut through the darkness, their sensors scanning every nearby system. They were drawn by rumors of a powerful civilization that had disappeared long ago. Stories whispered in distant starports. They wanted technology, secrets, and total control. As Mira activated the ancient communications array, she saw the approaching ships. Hundreds of sensors flickered. She took a deep breath and stepped onto the observation platform. "They are here," she said softly, but her eyes blazed with determination. "The galaxy has forgotten what humans are capable of, but we will remind them." Her voice carried through the chamber, awakening the Council of Ancients. One by one, figures emerged from stasis, their eyes glowing with a familiar golden hue. They were not young, but their bodies were perfect, designed to endure centuries in suspended animation. Each of them carried centuries of wisdom and experience. Aaron, the council leader, approached Mira. His movements were calm, precise, but his eyes were sharp. "You have seen them?" he asked. "Yes," Mira replied. "The Zetherians are scouting. They know something is here. They will come for more if we do not act," the council murmured among themselves. Some were cautious, fearing that revealing themselves would ignite war across the galaxy. Others were eager, remembering the old glory of human civilization and the power they once wielded. Aaron raised his hand, silencing the debate. "We must not be rash," he said. "But we cannot hide. If the galaxy is in danger, we will act. Humanity does not watch idly while injustice spreads." Mira nodded. "We have the knowledge, the power, and the strategy. They may have fleets, weapons, and numbers, but we have something they cannot match: the mind of a human." As the council debated their course, the Zetherian scouts drew closer. Their ships glimmered in the starlight, shaped like jagged shards of obsidian. They were fast, armed with energy cannons capable of reducing entire cities to ash, and yet they were unaware of the power sleeping within Erythra. Mira activated the planet's ancient defense systems. Shields of shimmering light enveloped the planet, bending the incoming scans of the Zetherians. On the surface, enormous towers of crystal hummed, sending pulses of energy into the atmosphere. The Zetherians noticed anomalies, but they could not detect the humans who had mastered the art of hiding in plain sight. A voice echoed in Mira's mind, the first words she had heard in decades from the stellar network, a psychic link connecting all Ancient Ones. "The galaxy has faltered, and the time of humans has returned." Mira shivered with excitement and fear. The galaxy had grown reckless. Civilizations were in constant conflict. Technology was misused, and entire systems had fallen to tyranny. The Ancient Ones had waited patiently, but the recklessness of other species had reached a tipping point. Humanity's return was no longer an option. It was a necessity. She gathered her team, humans who had been awakened from stasis, each trained in ancient arts. Kale, a master of energy manipulation, Lyra, a strategist with unmatched foresight, and Tovan, a warrior who could outmaneuver any enemy, joined her at the observation platform. "Are you ready?" Mira asked. "We were born ready," Kale replied, his eyes gleaming. "We do not fight for war alone," Lyra added. "We fight for the balance of the galaxy," Tovan nodded. "And we fight as humans. That is our greatest strength." With their decision made, the Ancient Ones began to activate the Stellar Gateway, a network of ancient portals that could send them instantly across light years. The Zitherians would be surprised when humans appeared not just as stories, but as living, breathing forces of power. As the first portal shimmered into existence, Mira stepped forward. The light enveloped her, stretching across space and time. The galaxy, unaware, continued its reckless path, but the Ancient Ones were coming, and the tide of events was about to change forever. Meanwhile, the Zitherian fleet had detected the portal activation. Their commander, a ruthless general named Zarek, snarled as his sensors picked up the sudden surge of energy. "What is that?" Zarek demanded. "Ancient humans," his aide whispered. "They were thought to be extinct. But they are alive and powerful." Zarek's eyes narrowed. "Prepare the fleet. We will not allow legends to threaten our empire. Destroy them before they can act." Back on Erythra, Mira felt the ripple of the Zitherian aggression, but she remained calm. Humans had survived far worse than alien fleets. They had mastered war, diplomacy, and survival in ways no other species could understand. "Let them come," Mira said quietly. "We are the Ancient Ones, we have endured, and the galaxy will remember us again." The first portal closed behind them, leaving Erythra in its quiet isolation once more. But across the galaxy, lights flickered on distant worlds, alarms sounded, and fleets scrambled. The galaxy had faltered, but it was about to learn the consequences of underestimating humanity. In that moment, Mira and her team became more than humans. They became legends reborn, a force of intellect, courage, and unity. They were the Ancient Ones, and the galaxy's reckoning had begun. As their ship traveled through the shimmering folds of space, Mira looked at her companions. "Our work is not for glory," she said. "It is for the future of all who live. And the Zitherians, they will see what humans truly are." The galaxy would never be the same again. The galaxy had slept peacefully or recklessly for centuries. Worlds rose and fell, empires expanded and collapsed, and in the quiet shadows of space the Ancient Ones had remained hidden. Now their awakening sent ripples through the stars, vibrations of energy that no species could ignore. Mira's team traveled aboard the Erythra Vanguard, a ship built by the Ancient Ones, glowing with a light that defied conventional understanding. It moved with the speed of thought, passing stars and nebulas in moments. Every system they passed felt the shift. Sensors flared, alarms rang, and communications channels buzzed with frantic speculation. In the heart of the Rethan cluster, a group of worlds governed by humans long separated from the Ancient Ones, news arrived first. The Outworlder colonies had long believed humanity was extinct, their histories reduced to myths and tales. Now transmissions arrived in patterns of energy and symbols that only the most advanced scholars could decode. "What is this?" asked Governor Lurvin, staring at the projection in his chamber. "It cannot be humans?" "Yes," his aide whispered. "They are real, and they are coming." Across the galaxy, Zitherian fleets also noticed. Commander Zyrek's eyes glimmered with cold fury as reports streamed in. Ancient energy readings faster than light anomalies, and sudden disappearances of scouts confirmed their fears. The humans thought extinct had returned. "They should have remained gone," Zyrek muttered, slamming his clawed hand against the console. "Prepare the fleet. We will crush them before they awaken fully." But the Ancient Ones did not seek destruction. They sought awareness, balance, and the restoration of a galaxy teetering on chaos. Mira and her companions arrived at Valor Prime, a neutral planet in the central galaxy, known for hosting delegates from multiple species. The planet's skies glowed orange, and its surface was covered with crystalline towers that reflected sunlight across vast plains. As their ship descended, humans and aliens alike gazed in wonder. Few had seen beings like the Ancient Ones in person. The golden eyes, the aura of power, and the calm authority of their presence caused panic, awe, and hope. all at once. Why are they here? A Valorian diplomat asked nervously. Mira stepped forward, her voice calm yet commanding. We are here to warn the galaxy, she said. Not to conquer, not to rule, but to protect. A force rises that could destroy everything you have built. The Xetherians will not stop. You must be ready, some delegates hesitated. They remembered stories of humanity from long ago, stories of power and conquest. Others were inspired, recognizing the courage and wisdom in Mira's words. Lyra, Mira's strategist, observed the reactions. We must gain allies quickly, she said. Even if some fear us, the majority will see the value in cooperation. We cannot fight alone. Meanwhile, in deep space, the Xetherians launched probing attacks on smaller systems, testing the Ancient One's strength. They encountered planets with no defenses, and their energy weapons easily destroyed orbital stations. But then came unexpected counterattacks. The Ancient One's strategy was precise, clever, and human. Ships disappeared from sensors only to strike from unexpected angles, disabling enemy weapons without harming civilian populations. Entire fleets were forced to retreat after realizing they could not predict the humans' movements. Kale, master of energy manipulation, demonstrated his skill during one of these skirmishes. He channeled pure energy into the void, creating fields that slowed the enemy ships and disrupted their weapons. The Xetherians had never faced such tactics. Their engineers were baffled and commanders were frustrated. They fight with more than strength, said Zyrek to his generals. They fight with intelligence, strategy. Humanity has returned and they are not weak. On Valor Prime, Mira held a council with alien leaders. Each species presented their concerns. Some feared the Xetherians, others distrusted humans, and a few saw an opportunity to gain influence. Mira listened patiently, demonstrating why humanity had survived for millennia. Humans do not act blindly, she explained. We use reason, courage, and foresight. You may fear us, but consider this. Without humans guiding the galaxy, the Xetherians' greed will consume you all. Gradually, a fragile alliance began to form. The Valorians, Zaltrians, and Makari representatives agreed to share intelligence and resources. Small fleets were assigned to patrol key sectors and planetary defenses were coordinated. Even though unity was new and fragile, it was a start. Back aboard the Erythra Vanguard, Mira reflected on the strategy. The galaxy underestimates humans, she said. They see us as legends or myths, not as the force we truly are. That is their mistake, and it is our advantage. Tavan the warrior leaned against a railing. Do you think we will have to fight? Mira shook her head. Not yet. But if these Xetherians push, we will respond, and when we do, they will learn why humans once ruled the stars. Suddenly, the ship's sensors detected something alarming. A Xetherian dreadnought approaching the neutral system. Unlike the scout ships, this was a massive vessel bristling with energy cannons capable of destroying moons. Kyle examined the readings. They are testing the boundaries, he said. They want to see how far we will go without striking first. Mira clenched her fist. They will learn soon enough. The first confrontation occurred in orbit above Valor Prime. The dreadnought fired a warning shot, creating a beam of energy that scorched the atmosphere. Civilian populations panicked, but Mira acted swiftly. Using the Vanguard's cloaking and speed, she moved her ship between the dreadnought and the planet, projecting a human energy shield that absorbed the attack. Kale and Tovan coordinated a counterstrike, sending pulses of energy that disrupted the dreadnought's engines. The Xetherians, unprepared for such skill, withdrew temporarily, shocked by the humans' efficiency and precision. Across the galaxy, news of the encounter spread quickly. Human ingenuity, courage, and tactical mastery became the focus of conversation, admiration, and fear. In secret, Mira communicated with her council via the stellar network. We have shown strength, but we cannot fight endlessly, she said. We must teach the galaxy to defend itself, inspire it to rise, and unite against the Xetherians. If we act wisely, we do not just survive, we shape the future. On the surface of Valor Prime, ordinary humans, descendants of lost colonies, gathered to see the Ancient Ones. They watched the glowing ships, felt the hum of energy in the air, and realized that legends were true. Families embraced, children gazed in awe, and whispers of hope spread through streets and towers. They are humans, an elder said, but they are more than us. Yes, a young boy replied. They are what we could be if we are brave, clever, and united. The Ancient Ones' return did more than alarm alien civilizations. It ignited inspiration in humans across the galaxy. In colonies long forgotten, people began to organize, train, and prepare for a future that had suddenly become full of possibilities. Meanwhile, Zyrek observed the reports of failing attacks. They are too fast, too clever, too human, he muttered. If they were not extinct, we would have crushed them centuries ago. Now we face an enemy we cannot predict, and the galaxy watches them with hope. Mira knew the Zitherians would not give up. Their empire thrived on fear, oppression, and violence. But she also knew that humanity's return had already changed the galaxy. The seeds of unity, courage, and intelligence had been sown. Now the fight was inevitable, but humans would face it with wisdom and strategy, not just weapons. As night fell over Valor Prime, Mira stood atop a crystalline tower, gazing at the stars. The galaxy was vast, dangerous, and uncertain. Fleets moved in distant systems, unknown threats stirred, and the Zitherians plotted their next strike. Yet she felt hope. Humans had survived famine, war, and exile. They had endured catastrophes that would have destroyed lesser species. And now, awakened as the Ancient Ones, they would show the galaxy why humanity was never meant to be forgotten. Lyra joined her. The galaxy is watching us, she said. Some fear us, some admire us, but all will remember us soon enough. Mira nodded. We do not fight for fame or fear. We fight to protect life, to inspire courage, and to prove that humans are extraordinary. The Zitherians will see soon enough. The stars stretched endlessly as the Erythra vanguard glided through the void. Mira stood on the observation deck, her golden eyes reflecting the light of distant suns. Behind her, the galaxy was alive with activity. Fleets moving, alarms sounding, and rumors spreading faster than any faster-than-light signal. Humanity had returned, and every corner of the galaxy was beginning to feel the shift. But Mira knew this was only the beginning. To face the Zitherians and the chaos they brought, the Ancient Ones needed more than courage and skill. They needed knowledge. They needed the secrets of their past, truths hidden for millennia, waiting for the right moment to emerge. The Council of Ancients gathered in the Chamber of Echoes, a massive room built from transparent crystal that allowed the stars to shine through. Aaron, their leader, spoke with quiet authority. The galaxy has changed, he said. We awaken to a universe that has forgotten us, a universe teetering on the edge of destruction. The Zitherians grow in power, but the knowledge of our ancestors remains intact, buried in the archives of Erythra. It is time we retrieve it, Kale stepped forward. The archives contain technologies that could shift the balance of power. Weapons, shields, starcraft designs, even knowledge of energy manipulation beyond comprehension. Yes, Aaron replied, but it is not only about weapons. The archives hold wisdom, history, and lessons from mistakes that nearly destroyed us before. We must learn from them, or the galaxy will repeat the same errors. Their first mission led them to the Stellar Archives, a massive structure carved into the heart of Erythra. Its towers pierced the sky like crystal spires, and its walls shimmered with flowing light. As Mira and her companions entered, they felt the weight of centuries. Every chamber, every scroll, every holographic projection held knowledge lost to the rest of the galaxy. Lyra moved carefully along the corridors, her fingers brushing against panels that activated ancient records. Here, she said, pointing to a glowing orb. This contains records of the stellar core, the heart of our civilization's power. Legends say it can amplify energy across star systems, protect planets, and even reshape environments. But it is dangerous if misused. Toven's hand rested on the hilt of his blade. If the Zitherians find it before us, the galaxy will burn. Mira nodded. That is why we must secure it. Not for conquest, but for protection. We do not seek to dominate the galaxy. We seek to save it. As they activated the archives, holographic projections filled the chamber, showing ancient battles, lost cities, and human achievements that defied imagination. Planets reshaped by human ingenuity, starships moving through dimensions, and energy systems that could power worlds for centuries. All of it reminded the ancients of the greatness of their species. Kale was fascinated. We were not merely survivors, he said. We were teachers, protectors, and leaders. The galaxy has forgotten what humans are capable of. Mira studied the records carefully, and now, we must remind them. Among the archives, they discovered records of the Great Cataclysm, a disaster that had forced humanity into hiding. A rogue artificial intelligence, once designed to protect planets, had spiraled out of control, destroying systems in its quest for perfect order. Humans had narrowly survived, retreating to hidden worlds like Erythra, where they preserved knowledge and waited for the right time to return. "This is why we must act with wisdom," Lyra said. "We have power beyond imagination, but if we are careless, we could repeat the same mistakes." While the council deliberated, scouts reported movement near the outer rim of the galaxy. These Aetherians were no longer sending only scouts, they were mobilizing larger fleets. Their goal was clear: locate the Ancient Ones and eliminate them before humanity could fully awaken. Mira gathered her team. "We cannot let them find the stellar core first," she said. "Its power is not meant for domination but for protection. We must retrieve it and hide it where only humans can access it." The mission was dangerous. The stellar core was protected by ancient defenses, traps, energy fields, and puzzles designed to test intelligence, courage, and moral judgment. It was not meant for brute force, only for those worthy of its power. As they entered the core chamber, the air shimmered with energy. A massive sphere floated in the center, pulsating with light that seemed to respond to thought. Mira could feel its energy calling to her, testing her, measuring her intent. "This is it," she whispered. "The stellar core." Kyle stepped closer, his hands raised to channel energy. The core reacted, sending waves of power that danced across the chamber. It tested their resolve, probing for fear, greed, or arrogance. Only those with clarity of purpose could succeed. Tavan moved forward, placing a hand on the core. "We seek only to protect the galaxy," he said firmly. "We seek not glory, not power, but safety for all who live." The core responded, its light expanding, bathing the chamber in brilliance. The Ancient Ones had proven themselves worthy. They could harness its energy, but they understood the responsibility it demanded. As they secured the stellar core, news arrived from the outer systems. The Aetherians had discovered a hidden human colony and attacked. The colonies were technologically limited, unable to defend themselves against advanced alien fleets. Mira's face hardened. "We cannot let this continue," she said. "Every system we fail to protect is another life lost. Humanity must act, not for conquest but for survival." They dispatched teams to defend the colonies using their superior technology and strategy. Energy shields protected cities, starships outmaneuvered the enemy, and the humans' tactical genius turned potential defeat into victories. Every success inspired hope across the galaxy. In the colonies, humans who had never seen the Ancient Ones in person now realized the truth of the legends. Children ran through streets protected by shimmering shields. Farmers looked up at the sky, seeing starships maneuver with impossible precision. Ordinary humans felt the spark of inspiration, understanding that courage, intelligence, and unity could overcome even the greatest threats. Meanwhile, the Aetherians regrouped. Zirek's fury grew as his fleets were repelled by what he called mere humans. He could not understand how a species thought extinct could be so formidable. "They are more than humans," Zirek admitted to his generals. "They are strategists, warriors, and visionaries. Every attack we launch fails because we cannot predict them. They are the greatest threat we have ever faced." But the Aetherians were relentless. They would continue to pursue, believing that strength alone could overcome ingenuity. They did not understand the essence of humanity, that their greatest power was not weapons but mind, spirit, and unity. Back aboard the Vanguard, Mira addressed her council. "The galaxy is changing," she said. "We have secured the stellar core, defended colonies, and inspired hope. But this is only the beginning. The Aetherians will escalate. We must be ready, not just with technology but with wisdom, courage, and the human spirit." Lyra nodded. "We must teach others. Humans alone cannot hold back the tide. If we inspire intelligence and courage across the galaxy, the Aetherians' greed will face more than just us. They will face an entire alliance." Kyle smiled faintly. "Then let the galaxy watch. Let them see what humans are capable of, not through fear but through courage and cleverness." Tovan placed a hand on Mira's shoulder. "We are the Ancient Ones. The galaxy has forgotten us for too long. It will not forget again." That night, Mira stood atop the Vanguard's observation deck, gazing at the stars. Planets glimmered below, some in panic, some in awe. Humanity's influence was spreading, not through conquest, but inspiration. Every act of intelligence, every display of courage, every life saved strengthened their legacy. The Zitherians will strike again, Mira said quietly. But they will learn that humans do not fight like any other species. We fight with mind, with strategy, with unity, and when they face us, they will see what it truly means to challenge humanity. Across the galaxy, systems began to prepare, inspired by the return of the Ancient Ones. Scientists, warriors, and leaders of multiple species began to work together, creating alliances that had been impossible for centuries. Humanity had sparked a revolution, not of war alone, but of hope, courage, and ingenuity. The galaxy had changed. No system was safe. No fleet could claim dominance without first considering the humans' return. The Ancient Ones had awakened fully, their presence reshaping politics, alliances, and battle strategies. And now, war was inevitable. Mira stood on the Erythra vanguard, her gaze fixed on a holographic map of the galaxy. Red zones marked Zitherian-controlled systems, while blue and green indicated allied worlds. The vastness of space was both a challenge and an opportunity. They are moving faster than expected, Kyle said, studying sensor readings. Multiple fleets have coordinated their attacks. They are testing every weak point in the alliance. Lyra, the strategist, nodded. And we need to respond with more than brute force. Every move must be precise. Every strike calculated. The Zitherians rely on fear and overwhelming numbers. We will counter with strategy, ingenuity, and unity. Tovan, ever the warrior, clenched his fists. Let them come. They will find no weakness. Every human in this galaxy fights with courage, and together, we are unstoppable. Mira's expression was calm but resolute. This war is not just about ships and weapons. It is about showing the galaxy what humans are capable of, and reminding everyone that intelligence, courage, and moral strength are our true weapons. The first engagement of the war occurred near the Sirith Expanse, a cluster of star systems rich in resources and strategically vital. The Zitherians had deployed a massive fleet, expecting an easy conquest. They did not anticipate the Ancient One's presence. Mira's forces moved like a single organism. Ships darted in and out of hyperspace, appearing where least expected. Energy fields disrupted enemy sensors. Pulses of light disabled weapons temporarily, giving humans time to maneuver. Every tactic exploited the Zitherians' rigid strategies. Kale led a squadron, channeling energy into the void to create temporal distortions, slowing enemy ships and confusing their navigation. The Zitherian commanders struggled to coordinate attacks as ships appeared in unpredictable locations, striking from angles no one could anticipate. "This is impossible," shouted a Zitherian captain. "They are not just powerful, they are intelligent." Indeed, intelligence was humanity's greatest weapon. Humans adapted mid-battle, responding to threats instantly, coordinating without communication delays, and inspiring allied species to do the same. While the fleet engaged in space, Mira led a mission to secure the orbital platforms of critical systems. These platforms, ancient human constructs, had been abandoned for centuries. Now, armed with knowledge from the stellar archives, humans reactivated them. The platforms were formidable. Energy shields, gravity traps, and advanced targeting systems made them nearly invincible. Tovan commanded teams to place strategic energy nodes across the platforms, allowing humans to control the surrounding space without excessive firepower. From the observation deck, Mira watched as Zitherian ships approached, confident they could overpower the humans. Within moments, they were caught in a web of energy fields, forced to retreat or face total destruction. "Every world we defend strengthens hope," Mira said. "Every victory shows that humans are more than legends. They are the guardians of this galaxy." The war spread quickly. Systems that had once fought the Zitherians alone now united under human leadership. The Valorians, Zoltrians, and Makari fleets coordinated strikes. They learned to emulate human tactics, thinking creatively instead of relying solely on brute force. Lyra oversaw strategic communications. "We must inspire intelligence across every species," she said. "They must learn that unity and cleverness are stronger than fear and domination. Humans are the example, but the galaxy must rise as one." And rise it did. Entire systems began to resist the Zitherians, not with reckless courage, but with calculated strategy. Mines were used as traps, planetary defenses activated in sequences designed to confuse enemy fleets, and coordinated diversions allowed humans and allies to strike precisely. The Scytherians, accustomed to submission, were bewildered. Their fleets, though massive, could not adapt to humans' unpredictability. Every battle cost them resources, morale, and confidence. In the midst of the war, Mira discovered a Scytherian superweapon, hidden on a remote asteroid. The weapon was enormous, capable of annihilating entire star systems. If it were activated, billions would die. "We cannot let this exist," Mira said, her voice steady. "We must disable it before it can destroy everything." Kale, Lyra, and Tovan joined her on a daring mission. They approached the asteroid under stealth, using the Vanguard's advanced cloaking systems. Once inside, the team moved silently, disabling security systems and avoiding traps. The superweapon pulsed with dark energy, sensing intruders and attempting to activate its defense protocols. Kale channeled energy through the ship's shields, creating safe passages while Lyra calculated every step. Tovan led strikes against robotic sentries with precision, avoiding unnecessary damage to the asteroid itself. Finally, they reached the core. Mira focused her energy, using the knowledge of the stellar core to safely neutralize the weapon. The pulsating menace stilled, and the threat of mass destruction was removed. "This is humanity at its best," Mira said. "We do not destroy recklessly. We act with thought, courage, and purpose." The news of the Scytherian defeat spread across the galaxy. Civilizations that had been enslaved or oppressed began to rise. Ordinary humans, inspired by the Ancient Ones, began forming militias, developing technology and learning tactics. Across colonies and homeworlds, a movement was growing. Even in enemy territories, whispers of humanity's brilliance traveled. Scytherian soldiers questioned their orders, seeing humans not as targets to conquer, but as beings of unmatched intelligence and courage. Fear of defeat combined with awe, and cracks appeared in the once impervious Scytherian empire. Back aboard the Vanguard, Mira convened the council. "The war is far from over," she said. "The Scytherians will escalate. But we have shown the galaxy what humanity can do. We fight not with hatred, but with strategy, intelligence, and the will to protect. That is why we will succeed," Kale nodded. "They will never predict our next move. We are adaptable, creative, and united. No enemy has faced humans like this before," Tovan added. "And our allies have learned from us. The galaxy is no longer divided. Together we are unstoppable." Lyra smiled faintly. "Strategy wins battles, but inspiration wins wars. Humans are both." The next phase of the war began in the Valori Rift, where the Scytherians concentrated a massive fleet to crush a coalition of human-led worlds. Mira prepared a daring counterattack. Instead of confronting the fleet directly, humans deployed decoy signals, hidden energy traps, and rapid maneuvers. The Scytherians fell into every trap, their formations disrupted, their morale shaken. Kale's energy pulses disabled the command ships temporarily, allowing smaller fleets to strike decisively. It was a symphony of human ingenuity. Every move anticipated, every attack calculated, every ally coordinated. By the end of the engagement, the Scytherians were in retreat, suffering losses they had not imagined possible. Across the galaxy, hope flourished. The story of humans who fought not with brute force but with courage and intelligence spread to systems that had never dreamed of freedom. Children whispered tales of the Ancient Ones. Leaders studied human strategy. Entire species were inspired to act boldly, to unite, and to resist tyranny. As the dust settled, Mira addressed her team. "The galaxy has seen what humans are capable of, but the Scytherians are not defeated. They will strike again, stronger and more desperate. We must prepare for what comes next, not with fear but with courage, wisdom, and unity." Tovan looked at the stars. "Let them come. They will find humans ready, allies united, and a galaxy unwilling to bow. They will learn that we are not just survivors, we are the Ancient Ones." Mira smiled faintly. "The war is dangerous, yes, but we are human, and humanity always finds a way." The galaxy watched as the stars shimmered with energy, reflecting the courage, strategy, and intelligence of a species once thought extinct. The Ancient Ones had awakened. They had defended the innocent, inspired hope, and reshaped the course of history. But the war was far from over. The Scytherians would not give up easily, and the final battles loomed on the horizon. Humanity's ingenuity, courage, and unity would be tested to the limits, and when the next strike came, the galaxy would witness the full might of the Ancient Ones. The galaxy held its breath, Systems that had once feared the Zitherians now looked to the Ancient Ones for guidance. Mira stood on the bridge of the Erythra Vanguard, eyes scanning the holographic map. Red swirls marked Zitherian fleets converging on the central systems. Blue and green zones marked human-led defenses and allied fleets. "This is it," Mira said softly. "The final strike. The Zitherians will throw everything they have at us, but we are ready." Kale's fingers danced over the control panels. "They have hundreds of ships, energy cannons, and war machines. But they are predictable. Their arrogance blinds them," Lyra added, "and we are not just humans. We are teachers, warriors, and protectors. Every fleet, every planet, every ally has learned from us. The galaxy is united under hope and strategy." Tovan clenched his fists. "Let them come. They will find humans waiting, and when they face us, they will see why humanity once ruled the stars." The final battle began in the Sirith Prime system, a strategically vital region. Zitherian fleets moved like shadows, sleek and deadly. But the Ancient Ones had anticipated every move. Fleets appeared and disappeared from hyperspace. Decoys distracted enemy squadrons, and energy fields disrupted the Zitherians' targeting systems. Kale led a squadron, channeling energy into the void to bend light and create illusions. Zitherian captains fired blindly, their weapons striking empty space. The Ancient Ones' ships, guided by centuries of wisdom and strategy, moved with precision. Lyra coordinated planetary defenses, turning every asteroid, moon, and space station into a trap. Energy nets, gravity distortions, and pulse shields slowed enemy fleets, giving allied ships time to strike decisively. Tovan led boarding teams, striking at Zitherian command ships. They fought with unmatched skill, disabling critical systems without unnecessary destruction. Every move was calculated, intelligent, and humane, humanity's greatest strength in action. Amid the chaos, Mira focused on the Zitherian Emperor's flagship, a massive vessel bristling with energy weapons capable of destroying planets. She knew that if it fell, the Zitherians could rebuild. But if the flagship were disabled, the Empire's morale would collapse. "Kyle, open a path to the flagship," she commanded. "Lyra, coordinate the allied fleets. Tovan, lead the boarding team." The Vanguard moved through hyperspace, appearing directly in the path of the Zitherian flagship. Energy shields flared, absorbing initial attacks. Kale channeled energy into a concentrated beam, slicing through the flagship's outer hull. Lyra's fleets attacked from multiple angles, creating confusion and splitting the enemy forces. Tovan's boarding team teleported aboard. They moved silently through corridors of dark metal, disabling systems and avoiding unnecessary destruction. Finally, they reached the core, where the Emperor waited. The Emperor, a massive Zitherian with armor that shimmered like obsidian, snarled, "Humans, you should have stayed hidden. Now you will be destroyed." Mira stepped forward, calm and unafraid. "We are not here for conquest. We are here for the future of the galaxy. Your empire thrived on fear and oppression, but today that ends." The Emperor lunged, but Tovan blocked him. Kale sent energy pulses that disrupted the Emperor's armor, while Mira and Lyra coordinated the disabling of the flagship's power systems. Every move was precise, every strike calculated. The Emperor, though powerful, could not match the ingenuity, courage, and unity of humanity. Finally, with one final coordinated effort, the flagship's energy core shut down. The massive vessel drifted powerless in space, its fleet in disarray. Across the galaxy, Zitherian forces began to surrender. They could no longer fight against a species that combined intelligence, courage, and moral strength in perfect harmony. The battle was over. The galaxy had witnessed the power of humanity, not through fear or domination, but through strategy, unity, and the will to protect. Systems that had been oppressed now celebrated, rebuilding under human guidance and inspiration. On Valor Prime, humans and aliens gathered in the streets. Children played beneath the shining sky, looking up at fleets of human-led ships that patrolled and protected. Scholars studied human strategies, leaders emulated human decision-making, and warriors trained in tactics inspired by the Ancient Ones. Mira stood on a platform overlooking the celebration. "The war is over," she said, "but our work is not finished. The galaxy must learn to protect itself, to unite, and to act wisely. Humans have shown what is possible. Now it is up to everyone to carry it forward." Kyle joined her. "They will remember this, won't they? Our courage, our intelligence, our unity?" Mira smiled. "They will. Humanity is not just a species. It is a symbol of hope, ingenuity, and moral strength. The galaxy will remember the Ancient Ones, and it will never forget again. Meanwhile, Zyrek, the former Zitherian commander, sat in his damaged flagship, defeated but alive. He looked out at the stars, humbled. They were not just humans, he admitted. They were something more. I underestimated them, and the galaxy paid the price of my arrogance. Even in defeat, the Zitherians began to learn. Some factions chose to surrender peacefully, joining the newly inspired coalition of species. Others retreated, realizing that the human-led galaxy was united in a way that could not be conquered by fear alone. In the following months, the Ancient Ones worked tirelessly. They helped rebuild systems, trained leaders, and shared knowledge carefully, ensuring it would be used responsibly. Humans became teachers, diplomats, and protectors across the galaxy. The Stellar Core was used not for power but for restoration, reviving dying worlds, stabilizing planets, and creating energy systems that could sustain life for centuries. The galaxy flourished. Civilizations that had been isolated or oppressed now thrived. New alliances formed based on respect, strategy, and mutual protection. Humans had shown that power without wisdom was dangerous, and that courage and intelligence could overcome even the greatest tyranny. Mira gathered her council for a final reflection. "We have returned," she said. "We have fought, protected, and inspired. The galaxy has learned the strength of humanity. But the greatest lesson is this: we do not fight for conquest or glory. We fight to protect life, to inspire courage, and to ensure that no species suffers under oppression again." Tovan nodded. "We have proven that humans are more than legends. We are guardians, leaders, and symbols of hope." Lyra smiled. "And now the galaxy will rise not because of fear but because of inspiration." "That is our legacy," Kyle added quietly. "The Ancient Ones are no longer hidden. We are part of the galaxy's story, guiding it toward a future of courage, intelligence, and unity." Mira looked out at the stars, feeling the weight of history and the promise of the future. "The war is over," she said softly. "But humanity's story has only just begun. We are the Ancient Ones, and the galaxy will never forget us." Across the galaxy, planets glimmered with renewed life. Children laughed, scholars debated, and warriors trained, not for war but for protection. Humans and allies worked together, building systems that would endure for centuries. The story of courage, ingenuity, and unity spread far and wide, inspiring hope in every corner of the stars. The Zitherians, humbled and reformed, began to participate in rebuilding rather than conquest. The galaxy had learned a critical lesson. Underestimating humanity was a mistake that could never be repeated.